Hello, hello, hello. So it's Sunday, and here we are. I'm going to tell you about what's what in Hans Norwegian Knitting. And I do see a few known names here, which is good because I might be leaning on you guys a bit to, you know, I use. I normally what I say is, and also why we did have done the panels for the different journeys and why we're doing the panel tomorrow with level one and level two, is that I can tell you about what I have to offer in my knitting world until I get green in my face or blue in my face. I can sit here and talk about it forever. But what really makes you decide is when you hear from other people what is actually going on and how much they enjoy it, right? That's when you guys do the jump and decide that you want to join. And I've seen this for years now, so I know this is proven. So, but at the same time, it is important because I do things very differently than most knitting designers. I do this as a designer. That's where I started. My brain, I started when you came in, you heard me talking about my brain with Steph. My brain is full of designs, and I mean, my brain is full of designs to such a degree that sometimes I wake up at night and I'm thinking, and I can't sleep because all I want to do is to start that design right there and then. And then I have to force myself not to do it. And some people keep telling me, you need to write down your ideas. No, I don't, because my head is so full of them that if any idea disappear, there's always a new one coming. The level three cardigan that many of you have seen over the last few weeks is one of those that has it actually took my brain hostage for 7 years. It was going around in circles inside that brain of mine. And then I just eventually in 2023 got it. It started in 22, but 2023 got it down onto the needles and made it. The level three sweater, the thick one that I've been working on lately, because that is, a thicker one, that is also going to be a level three one. That has also been in my brain for a long time. A long time. And then I wasn't depressed, but I was a bit, fed up of everything. And I was tired and I didn't want to do any business stuff earlier this summer. And I just decided now is the time to start that one. And when I start something like that, I have to finish it. So the Northern Light version of the Setesdal sweater is actually suffering from that. But that's the way it is. And they know me, those that are in the Northern Light, they know that what they're waiting for is coming. So uh, so, since I do things differently, the reason why I do it differently, for those of you who don't know me, there are many of you on the call have heard this before, but there are also new people here, so I want to share this. In 2013, I used to be a runner. I love my mountains, and in 2013, I used to run 10K 5 times a week. I did that on a Tuesday afternoon, early evening. Went to bed at 8 o'clock because felt extremely tired. I had felt tired a long time. I woke up at close to 5 p.m. the day after. That was the evidence that I've hit that brick wall hard, really hard. It took me half a year to be able to sit up without support for my neck. I spent in average 18 to 22 hours sleeping for 3 months. And I've always been knitting. I've always been knitting from my head. I've never knitted patterns. I've done 5 in my entire life that have been made by others. The rest comes from this funny little thing on the top here, which is not always that funny, but yeah. And then what happened was that I spent this was on June 7th in 2013. I remember this. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember from that period, but this I know that date. So I spent the time trying to spend more and more time being awake, and I was lying in bed Not in bed. I got my clothes on and went downstairs to the sofa because that is the first step to try to stay awake, right? Get out of bed. But I was lying on my bed, on my sofa, and as soon as you close your eyes, you tend to fall asleep when you are in that kind of state. So I had my television or radio on, and that autumn I didn't watch. I listened through all seasons of the Gilmore Girls, of Friends, and a few others, but these are the ones that have really stuck with my brain. And that was the year when chess really took off in Norway as well. We have this really good chess player, and NRK decided that they wanted to do a 3 week chess tournament and do live streaming every day from a chess tournament. A big success, however, and I was lying on bed listening to that. But anyway, and on myself for listening to that. Eventually, and I also did some, eventually I got out of it. I still wasn't, like I used to be, and I still am not. I was talking to someone during this period because I had my brain was, on overload. That was basically why I also hit that brick wall. And I was sacked during that period. Um, and then I talked to this person that coach that I was talking to, and she said, "Okay, so what do you want to do then, moving forward?" Because I was sacked, but I did get an amount of money because I have a friend that is a lawyer, and he said they cannot do this. We're gonna fix this for you, and he fixed it. So I had this amount of money, and she said, "What if you were to choose from the top shelf? What are you gonna do?" And I said, "Knitting," because that was what I had been doing for 6 months, 7, 8 months. And then I looked up and I looked at her and I laughed and I said, "Well, I cannot do that, can I?" And she challenged me and she said, "Who says that?" 4 weeks later, I had $4,000 worth of yarn in my living room because I decided to starting to make my own patterns and open a yarn shop online. That's what I decided. That has taken me to where we are today. There's been a few ups and downs. I went back to work in 2018. Took me 9 months, and I was back in bed, sleeping. And then I gave it one last pull, and I thought, okay, now we're doing it because I'm not going on support. What do you call it? Social benefits. That's not happening. I am able to do this, even though I cannot work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 as we normally do in Norway, or 8 to 6 or whatever. And then I decided we need to do this differently. And that process was long, and that's why we are here today, because I decided patterns is not going to work. I haven't picked that lucky straw quite yet. If I had, then it would have worked because some people are able to live from patterns only. I decided let's build a community of some sort, but let's start with teaching Canadians and Americans how to knit Norwegian sweaters. That's what I decided to start, and that's where I started. Why Canadians and Americans? Because there are North Americans in general, there are a lot of Norwegian heritage over there. And Norwegians, they do know how to knit. At least they like to think they know how to knit. And I thought, okay, I'm not gonna fight with Norwegians about this because they know what I have to share. They know, most of them know already. Let's talk to these North Americans and see if they want something like this. I launched what you're gonna hear about later today, the level 2, the Norwegian Knitting Magic course. There are people on this call right now that joined that first course that I put out there in 2021. I think it was 21. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. The years are just too, flying by. You know all about that. Then what happened was that people joined because quite a few actually did. And then they realized that people joined, but they needed something before, an earlier lower level kind of thing, because a whole sweater might not be the right thing. It might be the right for certain people, but not for everyone. To jump in and do, for the first project you do as a color work, do that sweater. Or the first time you're gonna teach yourself how to knit continental. For those of you who don't know the difference between continental and throwing, the continental is the way that I do it, where you have both strands on the left hand. I'm not doing this thing with this hand here. So all my tutorials are continental, just so you know. So then I decided to create what I then decided to call the Norwegian Knitting Magic Level 1. Because I thought, okay, a hat, a cowl, a pair of mittens, perfect small projects where you can practice. And it's so much easier to rip back, because part of the learning process is ripping, and ripping a whole yoke on a sweater feels so devastating and then disencouraging, if that's something that's called that, for people. So I thought, this is where we start. Then I realized that there were people that started on that course that actually needed something before that as well. And that's when the level 0 was created. So that was called the power of knitting, but that has become the level 0 because 1 and 2 was taken already, right? Then, because that is a course that teaches you how to knit, or it teaches you how to knit continental if you want to do that, learn that. It goes, really basic. And I like to say, what I keep saying is that course is a kind of I would probably say that goes for all my courses. They are kind of knitting vaults where you get layers of knowledge and you get a whole lot of small knit bits of information all the way. And that's what people keep saying. Even the most experienced knitters that come into my world, they do say that level 0, all of them, not all of them, but I would say that the big majority is doing, even though they might be doing level 3, they are doing level 0 as well, just to see what I have to say, and then pick up all those small little things that I put into each of the tutorials, because I make all this really short, targeted tutorials throughout all my courses. So that's how the courses came up, and I'm gonna bring up a presentation awfully soon and show you some pictures and draw some lines. Yeah. Even before that, what happened was that in the autumn, before I launched because the first level 2 course was in May, was launched in May, and the autumn before I was sitting down doing, I can't remember, but I got completely hung up on designing mittens. Completely. I think I made like 40 different versions of mittens on this in pattern. Everything with my rose, obviously. The story of the rose is not coming today. That's for another day. But that rose that you see on the back here, and you see it in every design, it's my signature rose kind of thing. It's called the mountain rose. Anyway, so in order for me, because what I did was that I decided to join a business course to help them help me create what we have today. Well, the beginning of it. And to be able to afford that, I launched something. I took 12 of those patterns, those mitten patterns, and I launched it as a 1-year project where they got 1 pattern every month with a mitten. And and I added some bonus patterns as time passed. And that is what it has become, the mitten bonanza. So at this point, we have all the courses, we have the mitten bonanza, and then I have a whole lot of old patterns that I occasionally put out there in small packages at this point. Then in the summer of 2022, this hardcore group of mine came to me and they told me, we want more. And I asked them, what do you want? And they said, we don't know. And I looked at them and I said, if you don't know, I can't give it to you, because then I don't know what to give to you. So you have to think about this. And I asked them again, and they still didn't know. But my brain, this, my brain is working. on overload most of the time. And what happens when this brain is getting a seed of something is that things are, it doesn't stop, it keeps going. So I talked at this point, I had left my business course and but I had a business coach that I was talking to because I need someone to keep me in line. Right now, Steph is trying to do that. To what extent she's actually succeeding, I don't know. But she tries, poor Steph. And I talked to her and I said, what if, because I had been encouraged to make a deep dive, more extensive program and offer that. And I said, there is no way, no one is going to pay. I've been charging $497 for the level 2 course since day one. And it's still that price. I've been thinking about increasing it, but I thought this is not the right time. So there you go, it stays. But I said, there is no way in freaking anything that anyone is going to pay more than $500 to me to do anything that has to do with knitting with me. And I was pushed on this, and eventually I kind of gave in, and it was kind of this like, those 5-year-olds who's been told 2 million times to do something and said no 2,000,001 times, and on 2,000,002, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It was kind of like that. So what I said is that what we can do is that we put everything that I do in a year into a program, and then I offer that to these people that say that they want more. And I also what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a level 3 because I have this idea, this one, for a model that if I were to sell that as a course, it would probably be $1,000 compared to a level 2. So I have this idea, so I'm going to put that in there. So I did that. I went to them and I said, here is what I can offer you, 12 months. No, that's non-negotiable. It's going to be a year because I decided at that point I want to make a community. So you sign up for 12 months, it's all or nothing, and you get everything in that month, that year. You don't pay extra for anything. That's what you get. And you get a lot more of me, and you get a level 3 course. What happened was that I thought this group that came to me there were 5 of them. They all signed up, obviously, but another 8 also signed up to this. And that was the beginning of where we are today, really. That was what started this whole thing. Because what happened was that I had 13 people signing up to this. And we started in January. And I am, by nature, as most other females, probably most of you on this call, a person pleaser. I am learning. I'm 57, so I've learned a lot of the last 5 to 10 years about how to please me more than, and less with the people pleasing and find the right balance. So we're getting there, but I'm still a people pleaser, just saying. But at that point, I felt so awful for all of those because this was a comprehensive, it's an investment that year in the Northern Light. I called it at this point a great experience. But today we are calling it the Northern Light because we changed the name of it last year, and I'm going to get back to that. I felt so bad for everyone who couldn't, financially meet that thing. So I thought, okay, let's make a non-committal, with a lower threshold to get in, and I called it a NUC, a membership. Today, the NUC has developed into something that I really didn't expect it to, and I didn't mean it to. This is partly Steph's fault, but can I blame someone? I'm blaming Steph. But I never do anything if I don't want to. Just know that. So when I say, can I blame someone? I'm saying that with a smile. But it wouldn't have been able to develop the NUC into the mountain journey as it is today without having Steph on board, because I wouldn't be able to serve the mountain and the Northern Lights as we do today, as one person. So that's why I'm saying. And Steph has also a head full of ideas. Depending on what mood I'm in, that's fortunate or unfortunate. The unfortunate is when she comes up with ideas that I haven't thought about that I find brilliant, because I can't let them go. That's my problem. So we started that one, and that actually started today. Is $47 a month, unless there is a campaign going on. It started, so there are people in there that've been there since day one, and they are paying $17 because that's where we started, and then it has increased, slowly. So when I say that we have, I think, and then we have there's been 17, 22, 27, 32, and 37, and then 47, and then we do the campaigns. So there's no, when I say that we have 200 people in there, it's not like, 200 people at $47, just so you know, because someone, told me that I was greedy, and I said, well, I don't think so, but that's another story. So that's kind of, the universe as is. That's how it has developed. Then last summer, I felt, and I still feel, that because there are additional steps to it. You have the Eternity Shawl experience. We have something called the Knit Bliss Pattern Collection, which is a result of something that happened in the mountain a couple of years ago. Then we have a virtual retreat. Then we do Wool Month, which is a free event, but you can upgrade and get some more. Then we do a color workshop, which is also a free event, which is connection to Wool Month. Then we do a perfect fit show event, where a mini course where you get that we very often do. We do it in the spring before we open up for level 2 in the spring. So everyone who signs up for level 2 in the autumn gets the spring version to watch on their own. I used to have, and I'm thinking about bringing it back at some point, if I can find a slot, something that we call the NICE challenge, which is an mindful knitting challenge with one color stuff, where we do things intentionally, really good thing to wind down and find your mojo again. What else did we do? There is an eternity sweater coming, and a few other things as well that I can't talk about. But then I decided that how can I present this? Because it's a bit confusing, because people see all my stuff and they want my patterns, and they can't have it. Because they say, well, are you going to release these level 3 patterns later? No, that's never going to happen. That is never, ever going to happen, because there are people that have signed up to the Northern Light only because of this. And then some leave after a year, but 75% stay at least 2 years. At least 2 years. I have, out of the original 13, 9 are still in, and they are in year 4. And I'm fairly sure that the big majority of those 9 is actually going to sign up again in November for year 5. There were at least 50% of them, I'm fairly sure of that. So that's not going to happen, because that would be kind of me betraying their trust doing that. They have joined because of that. They are staying because of the community, because that's what happened. We have ended up creating, whether it is in the mountain or in the Northern Light, but mostly so in the Northern Light, because we are seeing each other so much, ending up staying because of the community. For those of you who heard the Northern Light panel on Friday, you heard Laurie say that. Laurie is on as well. So, that's what's happening. And we open up to all these stuff in various intervals. The mountain is available most of the time. I've been playing and toying with actually closing it and open it 1 week a month, but that's another story. That's, for now, that's not happening. Northern Light is opening. We open for Northern Lights now But we do also, in the name of transparency, because I like to be transparent. I don't like to hide things, and I try not to. Sometimes I don't tell you everything, but I'm allowed to do that. That's my prerogative as the boss. Um, we also open in November. For some reason, because I really I would love to open in November only, because then everyone would do, because we teach level 1 in January. I would love everyone to do the whole year. Level 1, level 2 in the spring, level 3, or level 2 a second time in the autumn, and then get the full circle. But people are drawn in because of this, because a lot of people are like the level 3. And we do level 3 in the autumn, so it makes sense to show you that one at this point. Having said that, the big majority of the people in my knitting world come in as experienced knitters. But there is nice lot of them who's not, are fairly new. But they all go through at some point. They all do all levels and they show up. And we have some really, what was it Terry said on Friday on one of the what word did she use? She didn't use, she didn't use keen, but something that one of those who shows up to everything, She's been knitting her entire life, but she shows up to everything, and she shows up to everything again and again and again. Not necessarily because she's working on a level 1 or a level 2 right then, but she learns something every time she's on there, because there's always something to learn. And that's why we call these the journeys, because I see that knitting as a journey. That is so important to me, because knitting, you never get, in Norwegian, we call it taught out when you don't learn anymore. I don't know what you call it, but you never stop learning when it comes to knitting. There's always something that you can pick up. So that's why we call it the journey. The journey is obviously virtual online, unless you decide to come to Norway during the in-person retreat, which is another story. That's not included in everything. That's an additional thing. Um, um, yeah. And that means not also for the courses as well. There are people that have done this for a long, long time, but they sign up to a course because they want to check out if they're doing it right. No, I believe that there is no right or wrong in all this. There are some rights and wrongs, but there are so many rights that can lead to the same results. Yeah. And then there are others that accidentally just get into the mountain, and then they decide they want more, and then they upgrade to the Fjord or the Northern Light. The Fjord is the middle thing. The Northern Light is the all-comprehensive. The Fjord is without the level 3 and without the community. But you get everything else. You get all the courses, you get the mountain. You don't get the eternity stuff. That is for for Northern Light only. But that's for those who want to sign up and get, when it's ready, it's being dripped out. So it comes to you, and you get a community section, but that's not really that much used, because they tend to show up a lot in the mountain. But they do have a community section, and they use it a bit. I was thinking about phasing out the Fjord, but then I realized that there are people that don't want to take the plunge and go all into the Northern Light, and then instead maybe buy all the courses and do one of those, and then upgrade later perhaps. I must say, there are out of the people that signed up for the Fjords last year, I think close to 60% of them have signed up to the Northern Light during the year, because they are allowed, since they're already on the inside. Okay. I think that was what I was wanting, the overall story. And now I'm going to show you some pictures and illustrations, and I will be repeating some of this, because very often you need that picture to go, the words to go with pictures. It makes it easier. But it's also nice. My experience is that it's good to get the overall story first, and then we can dive into the different things. If any of you have any questions as we move along during the presentation, when I bring up the presentation, raise your hand, okay? Because then I can answer your questions as we move along. Let me see. I'm going to share screen. Hang on, I just need to, where is it? There it is. Preview this one, and then zoom and share screen. And then, Steph, can you see it?
Yep,
Good.
looks great.
Yeah, thank you. View single page. That makes it. Okay, so what's what? For those of you who don't know it, these are Northern Lighters, all of these in level 2 sweaters. I have one with more pictures on it, but I need to download it. This is my youngest sister. She is my reluctant model. She doesn't want to, but I am doing quite a few things for her. So she realizes that, that's her way of paying back. So there you go. She has to. I send her a message and I say, hey, I have 2 models and we need to do them tomorrow. Or whenever you can. And then she says, okay. And then she says, I look really awful these days. And I say, I can take pictures without actually putting your face in it. And she says, no, you can't, but let's do it. So this is just some. I don't know if you saw the post I did on social media today with pictures from the different courses and levels and stuff. I have so much stuff and I have so many pictures. I think I have 5,000 pictures on my phone. And they're all knitting related. There are a few traveling pictures, but most of them are knitting. I don't have kids, I don't have grandkids, so and I don't have animals, but I do have yarn. It's like it's ridiculous, really. But it's let me see if it can tell me. Oh, it doesn't say. They changed layout. Oh, there are thousands of them. Anyway. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a mountain person, big time mountain person. That's where I come to alive. I mean, if I feel I'm losing myself, all I have to do is, go to the mountain and I'm grounded within the next couple of hours. They all say it. We can hear it and see it, Anne, when you're in the mountain. And your creativity, just blooms when you're in the mountains, which is so true. So, let us move a bit. Courses. We've been through some of it, but we have the level 2 top down course. Focus on shaping the pattern to your body, getting to to know your body, how to measure it, what to measure, when to measure, how to rip back when it doesn't fit, and to get used to making swatches and finding your gauge. I cannot tell you how much we gauge in my world. Everyone who says that they don't gauge, I don't say anything if we're not, I do say anything if we're in my world, but if we're not in my world, I just keep quiet because I don't want to go down that road. But in my world, we do gauge. There is no way in freaking anything that you're getting out of the swatch. Because if you don't swatch, you have no idea what's going to be the end result. And that's the end of that story, That's one of my phrases. I use that a lot. That's the end of that story. And then people say that, yes, but I always knit on gauge. And then Steph says, until you don't. And I'm like, yes, Steph, you're my woman. Because we are introducing new yarns, you're getting new patterns, you're probably starting a new way of knitting, either if it's going to continental or if you haven't done colorwork before, or and or if you've done cables before and now you're doing colorwork, there is, that's like comparing oranges and tomatoes. It's not even apples and pears, it's oranges and tomatoes. So that swatching is happening. And in Anne's Norwegian Knitting, we do swatch with a purpose, as Steph says. I just like that. I've always just said, make that, hat or, whatever it is. And we find small projects and I make small patterns for you so that you can make something that is relevant for the course or maybe on the side, depending on, because some of the people in here have knit 10 different hats and they don't probably need more hats. So then we do a pot holder or a bottle cover or something like that to make sure that we swatch properly. Or like we did with the Settestall this summer, they got an iPad cover or not iPad, a tablet cover or a computer cover. So because then you get a bigger project because you need a certain size to do that. So that's level 2. Lots of it. We teach it twice a year. You get 4 patterns, 2 sweaters and 2 cardigans. That being said, the pattern is actually the same, but the motifs there are 2 different motifs, and then you can make it either as a sweater or as a cardigan. And you will see it from this here that there are, this model here is the original one, these 4 here, and this in the background there, and this in the background there. That's what we call the Ingun model, and that's the newest one. This is Gwen. She's in the Northern Lights. This is Steph. Sandy, not Sally. Sandy. Brenda, which I called the doctor on Friday because I couldn't remember her name. For some reason, I complete blockout, complete brain freeze. Terry, Yvonne, and Crystal. And they're all currently in the Northern Lights. So that was level 2. And that being said, also, we start in the summer and in the spring, and then people that if they don't finish it, they come back and finish it during the second round in the autumn or the other way around. We are introducing something new this year, and that is not for newbies, but for those who's already finished one model, then we're introducing a level 2 plus for those who want that, but that's not available until you finished the first version of one of the models. Then we have the level 1, as I talked about. We're doing downwards counting today, and that is there are more patterns in there with thinner yarn and thinner needles, but I added these here this last winter because people had been asking for it. So I added a hat and a cowl, but the original one is a hat and a cowl and a pair of mittens. Some people spend the entire course making that hat, and that's fine. Other people manage to finish everything within the time of the course, and other people again maybe do 1 or 2 of them and then not the third. That's entirely up to the people joining. This is a self-study course, but we do teach it. It used to be a teaching course only, and I have released it as a self-study course, but we teach it in January, February every year. So we're going to do this in January, February every year. For those who join the Northern Light, they get access to this one instantly so that they can start looking at it in parallel to whatever else they do. Here, the main thing with this course is actually to teach you how to knit colorwork the continental way with both strands on the left hand. That's the main thing. Getting control of the strands behind on the backside of your knitting, getting control of your gauge, learning to know how experimenting with holding your needles and how you move forward, and again, some ripping. Again, but what I keep saying is that the first time you do something like this, do not rip it back. Keep it, please, 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 please keep it as proof of where you started. Because 2 years from now, when you do perfect color work and make sweaters every week, you will not be able to remember what that first hat looks like. And that is one of the reasons why we always strive for something new and never stop, is that we forget where we came from. And by doing that, we forget the huge progress that we made since we started. And you can tell yourself that the first hat I made looked really wonky, but unless you have proof of it, you will not remember that. It's like pain. We don't remember. We can't reconstruct pain. We know that it was painful. But I mean, how many kids would be born if you remembered how painful it was, right? So, no. And this is the same here. Because one of my mantras is that we need to, how should I say this? I have this thing, I keep saying that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. We need to start appreciating more where we are and not always strive to, what's coming tomorrow or the day after. If you're striving because the day after is because you're going to meet some of the people in your group, knitting group in here, then that's fine. But, when it comes to, we still need to be more appreciative of where we are today. And that's one way of doing that is being able to see how far we come. Then we have the level 0. The level 0 is a set of, you get one of those small little scarves. I have another scarf that has been in progress for quite some time. I need to write a pattern for that at some point. There's a hat in there. There's another scarf. There are a lot of small exercises that you can use for several projects. The main idea is practice, practice, practice in level 0. Whether you are new to knitting in general, or if you're new to knitting continental and want to master the continental knitting. So this is a self-study course. You can buy it separately, or if you're in the Northern Light or in the Fjord, you get all of these. You can buy this separately, or when you join the mountain, you also have access to it as long as you're a member. When you leave, it goes away. And then we have level 3. And level 3 is part of the Northern Lights membership, which is the year-long thing. Started with this one. Again, my sister, and on this day, it was really, really hot. And I have a video because I always take some photos and some videos. Then she says, I have a video where I hear her say, can I say that it's peep hot? She used a bad word. And I'm like, and I'm laughing and I'm saying, yes, but this is you paying me back. So don't complain. This one is a cardigan like no other. Right, Steph?
It'll blow your mind because
Yeah.
it is out of the box and it's like nobody else's pattern ever anywhere.
No.
How it comes together.
And when Steph has seen quite a few, I don't see other people's patterns because it's only recently that I've started, looking at knitting books, not because I need inspiration, because that's why I have avoided anyone who's knitting or designing online for a decade since I started this, because my brain, I told you, it's full already. I don't need more inspiration. But I have started looking at other designers, and that's basically because we do something called the virtual retreat every year now. We've done it twice. And we're planning the third time, and that means that during those weekends we invite other people in, other knitters and knitting designers. So that's really why I started looking. Anyway, so this one is made in a completely different way. People say it's beautiful. I cannot say anything but agree, because and this was in my head for 7 years, not exactly like this, but the construction was in my head for 7 years. The layout, yes, and the construction, but the motifs and how it, ended up, that was not. That is a result of me starting to work, because I saw in my brain, there was this picture about, I'd seen, actually, it's from a cardigan that I saw on Zara in Spain one summer. They had put out the autumn collection, so I saw it in Spain, and then it never left my brain. And it was the shape of it that I loved. And then I, spent 7 years brooding on how to do this and what to do, and here it is. The construction is nothing like what I saw, but the layout of it is. So, and this one we're teaching this autumn. We are closing the sign up to all these courses on midnight Pacific this Wednesday. Not level 2 and not level 1 and level 0 because they are always open. And then on the 27th, we are doing a welcome call, one for level 2 and one for level 3, or Northern Light actually, / level 3. And then we start teaching level 2 on Thursday, September 17th. And I've been saying 16, but that's Wednesday, so it's 17th. And that's Steph doing Thursdays, and I am doing the Wednesday teaching starting, and that's level 3, and that's starting on the 23rd. And then we have Q&A on Mondays, just so you know. Yeah. So this one is complicated, and for some people it was a bit too much, and they felt a bit overwhelmed by it, so they asked for a sweater, and then I came up with this one. This is one of my favorite sweaters, I must say. It's hanging behind me there. I use that one a lot. It's wide, but you can make it as wide or not wide as you want. But this is how I like my sweaters, and I wanted these sweaters to be that, and I wanted these sweaters to kind of be a version of the cardigan, because the cardigan is short and wide originally. Again, we adapt in Ants Norwegian Knitting. There is no point knitting a whole lot of stuff that you don't like, whether it is because you don't like the colors or you don't like the shape. So we are shaping it within, certain limits to your body. This one came out a bit wider than it was intended, but I made up for that by making the ribbing tighter. It splits. There's a split on the side in my ribbing, but I did tighten it up a bit. Same pattern as on the cardigan. The side here, same pattern. This pattern here on the sweater comes on the cowl. You don't see it that well, but there's a cowl here that is loose that you can take on and off. That goes with it. Okay, and then this summer, this is, has been in my brain for a while, and then I woke up one morning and it's like, I was meaning to do this later this autumn, but I thought, no, I have to do it now. And there we go. This one, because what happened is that people are staying for so long in the Northern Lights, so after a couple of years, they've done everything. And then they need some new challenges. And that's when what we are introducing this year is that we're introducing something called the indigo layer. Doesn't mean that they leave the Northern Light. They're still in the Northern Light, but they get an extra layer after having met certain criteria. And that one of them is that you have to have started your second year. That's one of them. For those of you who join, you will learn more about that when you join and when you get closer to your renewal. And I cannot tell you how fun this has been. This has been so much fun knitting this one. It's almost finished. I'm going to have some either ribbing or an I-cord at the bottom of this, but I need to finish it completely on the top before I know what I'm going to put on the end, because that depends on how long it is when it's finally on. I am fairly picky and fairly specific about how long I want my sweaters. For those of you who don't know that, you'll learn it. Most people in here know, and they also know why. Everyone who joins will learn to know why. I want to show you this because this is from this summer when we had an in-person retreat in Norway. The reason why I'm showing you this is not basically most of all to tempt you to come to Norway next year. I mean, yes, would be cool to have you, but I want to show you what it looks like when you have a group of fabulous knitters together and they all put on stuff that they have knit of my designs. That is, I can't tell you how satisfying this is. This is like, ah, I'm so proud of this. I really, really am. And I'm so proud of everyone in that makes and the progress that most of my knitters, I call them my knitters because they are my knitters. So there you go. And if you join, you're going to be one of mine as well. But here you see a variety of different ones. You see that this is taken in Hemsedal, which is my favorite mountain. So most of these pictures are actually Hemsedal sweaters because that was what was encouraged to finish a Hemsedal sweater. So we can take a picture like this. Some of us hadn't done that. One is Anne, and well, I had my own, but I'm hiding. But I did have my own because I have two. Leslie have a level 3 sweater on. Brenda has an Hemsedal, which is in the mountain. This pattern here, Steph has a Hemsedal on, is in the mountain, is part of the mountain. Yvonne has a level 2. Marie has an eternity shawl. That's actually Yvonne's. Yeah, but that's because Yvonne has made this glorious eternity shawl with all these fabulous flower colors. Laurie has a Hemsedal, Terry has a Hemsedal, so does Myra. And then this is a level 2, Suzanne, Hemsedal on Jan. And then this is this Setesdal, the Mountain Rose meets Setesdal, that Cindy has on. Rosie or Roseanne, depending on how well you know her. It's right, Roseanne? I can see you. Has a Hemsedal on. And Sandy has a Hemsedal, and so does Carol. Carol has a Hemsedal on, but she's used thinner yarns. So she actually used the level 2 sweater and adapted the Hemsedal pattern motif onto the level 2 pattern because she is too warm to have these thick sweaters. And this is the kind of thing that we do a lot, especially in the Northern Lights. And I encourage that. Do it. Because I really want you to try to get it your way. And this is Tiffany with a level 2. So this is just to show you what you can make. Not necessarily show it off in Norway, but you can still show it off, right? Of other stuff, I mentioned the Mitten Bonanza. That is off for sale as a standalone. The Perfect Fit workshop I mentioned, which is free. The color party is the color workshop that I do in May every year, which is free. The Nice Challenge is a free thing. Last time we did that, I think it's 2 years ago, actually, to be quite honest. At least a year and a half. Wool month we do every year, new pattern, and that's what happens is that pattern is released in the mountain as a bonus to everyone who joins the mountain that month. That pattern is taken down on September 2nd, 3rd, something like that. And then everyone who joins after that, they don't get the pattern, but they can buy it as an add-on. So all the patterns from previous versions are in there, accessible to buy. The Eternity Shawl experience is a separate experience that we do in May every year. I have done it in May every year, the last 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure actually if I'm going to do it next year, but you never know. And then we have the virtual retreat, which is it's called the virtual Norwegian knitting retreat, but there is so much more to it. We're diving into Norwegian culture and history. You get patterns, you meet knitting designers, but you also meet historians or other crafting people, experts of Norwegian craft stuff. And we start on Thursday with a welcome call and a short session after, well, one session after that is not that short, actually, it's a couple of hours. That lasts 2.5 hours. It will altogether last probably this year. And when I said this year, that's 27 because we already had the 26. It's the last weekend of February. And then there is a full program on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, between 6 and 8 hours every day. So we have breaks. Unfortunately, people have so many questions and so much to ask and so much to share that very often a lot of those breaks become, not really breaks, but people are exhausted afterwards, but they're so happy. You should see some of the testimonials that we got after last year. It made me cry. I am a softie. Just saying. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a real softie. And then, of course, we have the Northern Lights, the three journeys, the mountain, the fjord, and the Northern Lights. These are the three options of the memberships. The fjord then is everything except the Northern Light community and the level 3 and a couple of other things, but everything that's for sale separately is in the fjord. The idea behind the names, the mountain is where we take it to the tops to give you the overview. That's the idea. Because I have an idea behind all these names. They're not only randomly picked. These are some of the projects that are in there. This one is not in there because that was last year. But you can buy it. It's not the wool patterns are available to buy only in the Northern Light, nowhere else. Obviously, if you're in the mountain, nowhere else. If you're in the Northern Light, you get them. Community, brilliant. We have quarterly projects. Right now, we're in the middle of the Setesdal stuff. A lot of Setesdals. You saw Cindy with the Setesdal sweater. The hat from Wool Month is made to match that. The hat and the headband, same pattern. You get the level 0. We have monthly meetups. And then we have a whole lot of other stuff. You're invited into support calls, quarterly support calls for the Eternity Shawl. There's level 1 monthly meetups, level 1, level 0, where you are invited in. I think you have something at least 2 times, and very often 3 times, and often more than that, a week, a month, something every week if you want to. We are going to, we have some really fun stuff coming up this autumn. We have a special mitten thing coming in October. We're going to have a knit along, a pre-Christmas holidays knit along starting in October. We always bring out all the Christmas and holiday knits because there's a bunch of them in there, and we bring those back out in Q4. You're gonna get a male sweater that's gonna be a bit delayed, but it's coming. In the Setesdal, a male version of the Setesdal sweater. Yeah, and it's a lot of history and culture in there, and more and more people are actually signing up. What we do have is that I have this campaign going. So you can sign up for a year. When you sign up for a year, you get 2 months for free no matter what. Almost 2 months for free. No, you get 2 months for free. You pay for 10 months for this one. And then right now we have a campaign going, which ends on Wednesday, midnight, with 20% off for a year. We do run campaigns now and then. So it's not like that. It's not coming back, actually. But we do not have a campaign on the monthly right now. But on the yearly, we do. Fjord, everything in the mountain. Level 1, level 2, the Mitten Bonanza, the Knit Bliss collection. And you do get some extra attention if you need it, if you're in the fjord. We do offer some one-on-ones when it's critical for the fjord members. It's 12 months as well. You can sign up and pay monthly, or you can sign up and pay the whole thing up front. And then again, you get 2 months, almost 2 months off. I'm going to get back to the pricing on all this soon. And then the Northern Lights. And I've talked so much about the Northern Lights, so I'm not sure if I need to say more about it, but you can ask questions if you want to. 47 for a month in the mountain is, I think it's 376 for a year right now. Yeah, 20% off on the year. The Fjord is 149 per month, or 1,497 if you pay up front. Then you save 2 months, almost 2 months. And the Northern Light right now is 247 per month, or if you pay up front, you pay 2,497 for the whole year, and then you get 2 months for free. How do you pay? That's a good question. We're going to give you some links awfully soon. Anyone have any questions? Because you probably have. I've talked a lot, and I'm fairly sure there are people that do have questions.
There's
I'm
one
going
question in the chat, and it was a little while ago, and we can start out with that one.
to,
This is a level one called the Mountain. So I know you've explained it kind of since then, but you might want to do another quick
yeah,
explanation.
yeah, and the answer to that is no. The Mountain is a membership, which is not really a teaching membership. It is mostly community, but you get so much. You do get teaching, but we don't do dedicated teaching like we do in level on the courses, and also yeah, on the courses, to be quite honest. But you do get access to the level 0. The level 1 is a separate one, absolutely. For those of you, I'm going to start with this. I mean, raise your hand if you have any questions, and I'm going to use the chat to give you some links. Jan.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself and put myself on camera.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing my
Yes.
eternity shawl. Where is it? It's all
Okay.
done.
Okay.
I'm just getting ready to steek. So I'm
Oh,
working
I
as
love
we talk. But my question is, how do you go from the mountain to the fjord? Like I've been in the mountain almost a couple years, and I would like to be in the fjord. So how do you do that transition, or for other people, maybe transition from the fjord to the northern lights, to the mountain to the
it.
northern lights?
Mm,
That's my question.
mm. Okay, that is a good question, Jan. And that's coming. I'm going to remove you. Don't have to be on stage with me all the time. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you, first of all, I'm going to give you a link in the chat. Share. Where's the chat? There. To join the Northern Light, you have to talk to me. One to one. I know it's scary. Shouldn't be. I'm nice. I'm a nice person. So don't be scared. The reason why I do this is because we have created such a fabulous community uh, in the mountain as well, but we are getting even closer in the Northern Light. So to join the Northern Light, I need to make sure that you got all the facts on that you need before you join. So I have to talk to you. I want to know that you understand what you are committing to, because I don't want people to, leave. I can't stop you from leaving, but you are committing to a year. So if you do monthly and you all of a sudden stop coming, I'm going to be a bit upset, to be quite honest. And that is one of the reasons why I then have to do that one-to-one, is that I need to make you understand that that is how it is. But also you need to get to know me. Right? You need to feel that you have had a conversation with me and that worked, and that could, you want more of me. And because this is, if the chemistry between you and I are not there, then the chemistry between you and the group is probably not going to be there either, and that's not going to work. Because this group is fabulous. And having said that, most people 99% have the right chemistry, because if you sign up for something like this, you have listened to me quite a few times in different channels, so you know. But I need to make that extra little check. Okay. There are people that have been told that maybe this is not the right time, or maybe you actually should reconsider and find something else. But I would say that that is like 1 or 2% max. Okay. So don't be afraid. It's a double check to check that you like me and I like you, and that we can agree that you are going to be a good fit for the group, because that group is absolutely awesome. They are so fabulous, and they are warm, and they're welcoming, and they're open. But I'm the one that has to make the last word on who's coming in or not. Okay. So if you want to, and we would like more people, we've had 7 people signing up over the last few weeks, couple of weeks. I have 5 more seats available right now. So if you want one of those seats, that link there is for you to book a one-to-one with me. Okay. So do that. I have a few calls. I'm going to meet a couple. I have 4 calls already. So, but there's not everyone joins. So don't worry. Make that, and we can. If we have more than 5 people that wants in, I'm going to go in my thinking box, and then I'll see if I open up a couple of more spaces. It depends. That just means that I open less spaces in November. So that's how it works. I control the intake. It's not like I'm ever going to have 50 people coming in at the same time. That's just not happening. That's probably going to kill this person and also the community. So there you go.
And then from the mountain to the fjord, how would you do that? I don't think there's a meeting for that one.
No, there's not. But that is for those of you who want to do that. If you know that you want to do that, you can use this link here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. If any of you are there and you are in doubt, should I do the Northern Lights? Should I do the Fjord? Don't know. Sign up to that one-to-one, and you can ask me, and we can decide together. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's that. And then there are people that want level 2, and the level 2 is now open. So I'm going to give you that link as well. I suggest that you guys, when you're finished with this, that you save this. I'm going to tell you how to save the chat. Either you copy and save it, or the links will be going out in an email later today or tomorrow. But if you know what you're doing, you know. This is the link to sign up. You can read more about the level 2 course on that link here. And you can sign up. You will get access to, when you sign up to this one, you get access to the community section and the guided tour right away. But the course is the first, the preliminary section. You're going to get access to that on Thursday. And then we're starting the actual course on the 17th. And then you get a new module dripped out almost every week. Not every week, but because we have some of the modules are 2-week spans on. Yeah. See you later, Michelle. Cool. Good to see you. Christine. You're muted, Christine.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where am I? Where am I? Okay.
Yeah, where am I? Now you have taken away your photo. And now you have muted yourself again. Your photo is back, but you have muted yourself again.
Okay. Have we got it straight?
Yes. There we are.
Oh God, I'm glad I'm a better knitter than I am a computer person. Anyway,
you're improving. You're improving, Christine.
Okay, quick question. as you know, I'm in the Northern Lights,
Mm.
and I've been waiting for level 2 to start. Do I have to sign up that I
No,
want level 2, or will I
no.
automatically get access? Because I don't have access to it yet. I'll automatically get access when it's
Yes,
available. Okay.
yes. Everyone in the Northern Light will get access on Thursday as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. Any other questions? Are there any? I mean, you got me. This is, I'm here to answer your questions. You don't have to come down. Um, if you don't want to. Lori. Well, she's coming down, whether she wants it or not.
Good morning.
Well, good afternoon.
So just to clarify, when you pay the price for the Northern Lights, is that the same amount every single year, or
No,
is that
it goes down, but it's the rates will differ moving forward to what it has been before because that is one of that's the only program. Okay, again, I did say that I'm transparent. I have increased the price on the Northern Light because the Northern Light has also increased in what is in there. So that has increased this year. Now this is the first time we do it the first time with this new price. The second year is at the lower price than the first one, and then the third year in the new structure that we're introducing is lower than the second one. As it is now.
Yeah.
As it is now, for you guys, you have a second year and you stay at that price.
that's encouraging for people.
Yeah. So
You're earning your way in.
yeah, so it's a kind of a chair, but yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So absolutely. I thought I was thinking, should I mention it or should I not? But yes, okay, I should have mentioned it. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Any questions? I'm here. I'm at your disposal right now. You can ask me, if not anything, or close to anything. Any of the already members that want to share anything or say something? I know I'm putting you on the spot now. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'm gonna do Sandy first and then you, Laurie. Unless that hand was from before. It was from before. Okay. Okay.
I just want to say, if you're on the fence and you don't know if you want this or not, just jump in. Just jump in the deep end because I am in the process right now of I've had a sort of a rough summer and I'm in the process of moving and I'm moving to a place where I know no one and somehow it's not as daunting because I have this family, friends that I have gained in the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
So
she's emotional as well.
I am.
Yeah, she
But
is.
anyways,
Well,
I'm gonna
there's
make
a
it through
bunch.
this.
Yeah,
But
there's
anyways, I just want
there's
to
a
say, if
bunch
you're
of
on
us.
the fence, if you're on the side of the pool, just jump in because it's so worth it. So, anyways, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm gonna get crazy. So,
Yeah. No,
anyways,
you're not crazy, and we love you.
yeah.
Yeah. That's actually, this was really cool. Thank you, Sandy, because this is like, I don't know if you see it, but I'm tearing up as well. I get, wet in the eyes or whatever you call it. But this community is something very special. And it is something extraordinary. The people in there are fabulous, and we are taking care of each other, and it's lovely. So there you go. So if you haven't signed up for that, if you are on the fence, jump down on the right fence, sign up for that one-to-one with me, and then we can take it from there. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You're not committing to anything. If you sign up for the one-to-one, that's, your should I do it? Should I not? Jan, did I see your hand?
I did. And what I wanted to just say is that, like I said, I've been in the mountain journey for a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and it, wherever you start is great. I've
Mm.
gone I started at 2, then I went back and did level 0 and level 1, and um, it's it's really amazing. And the like you said, the monthly thing or the yearly thing to be part of that community. Sometimes I go in for inspiration. Sometimes if I'm not knitting, I can go in and see everybody's projects and see what they're saying about them. And it's really inspiring. And they're all just people that are out there wanting to learn. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm still working, so I don't get in as much as I would love to do it full time all the time because it's that fun, but I can't. There's, like Sandy's experiencing, there's life and
Mm.
there's work and there's other things that take away. But I think like she has also experienced, it's a retreat and an escape right there on your computer, in the feeds, in the classes that you can be a part of.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate that. And it's really cool to hear that from someone because I know you've been around. I've seen your name. And it's really, really, I love that someone has been around that long that you have, and say something like that, and that you are thinking about, the fjord now. Then it's, yeah. Thank you.
And Northern Lights too.
Yeah, I
But
know
I
that.
might have another year before I can do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's really
that's,
fun
yeah, but
I know it's really cool. I know it would
exactly.
elevate that level of community. So,
Exactly. And what is important to me is that I don't want anyone to join anything unless they feel that it's right.
yeah.
You know, I've had a coach that's been telling me that, you're never going to be ready so I don't like using that. If you're ready or not has nothing to do with it. But if it feels right or not has everything to do with it. So, because you're never going to be ready. I mean, some people will always be like, I'm just going, I'm just going, I'm just going to, I'm just, okay, so let's meet in 32 then. Yeah. It's like, so anyway, but thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that. I love that. Thank you. Michelle.
Hi.
Hey.
Um, I've been with family for a while now and traveling on the road by myself. So when I'm driving 80 miles down the highway, I can't watch you.
I am
Well,
I'm
I
I'm
could
really
try.
glad. I'm really glad you don't watch me when you drive at 80 miles an hour down the road. I'm really happy for that.
I mean, I could listen to you, which sometimes I've done, but my girls have told me I'm not very good. I kind of I do glance, and that's not good at that speed.
Mm.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that you know me better than I know me because I joined. Okay, yeah, I joined Northern Lights from just the monthly, and I want all the technical stuff. I want it all. That's just me. I don't. I have a full speed ahead, or I. That's me. But I've done knitting for decades since I was a kid, so it's my love. But
Mm.
you know me better because even Steph, you were helping me out. I've did my hat level 2, and then started on my sweater, and you gave me that little challenge and stuff. Well, I can meet some challenges, and you're like, yeah, I don't think you're going to have that done by September 1st to go to the Northern Lights one. And I went, yeah, well, I'll get it done. Well, I've not gotten it done. So I am all ready to tackle the level 2 from within the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes back up again.
Yeah.
So Anne knows us better than we know ourselves.
You know, Michelle,
traveling.
that conversation, when you look back at it, and if you are really, look at yourself and then just think, okay, what did I even think saying something like that? You would have, but as you said, you get so excited about it. But that doesn't mean that, I mean, you can join us in the level 3 and watch, and listen. But
I
it's
would love
like,
to.
but I want you to knit the level 2 this autumn, and I think that's going to be absolutely beautiful. So.
No,
There we go.
I'm all ready for all the little stuff. And it does take a while to move around in your world because there's just so much to learn and so many resources. And it's just if you love knitting or you think you love it, it's a great world to be in. You are a very wonderful world. So anyway, I got to start driving. My sister's
Yeah,
waiting on
you
me.
do that, and I'll see you when you are back home.
Yeah. Talk.
Okay. Is there anything? I'm writing down all the projects I want to do as Anne was explaining them. Yeah, Linda, I know, but you're on the inside, so you get. Marilyn, is the social meet on Saturday included in my month? No, it's not. The social meet on Saturdays is for the Northern Lights only. The Northern Lights meets every Saturday and every Tuesday. The Tuesday is still under consideration and as a test, but the Saturday is set. They meet without me. I'm letting them loose because I trust them. That being said, I have a tendency to show up in the middle of it at some point or another. So, and that's because I miss them, right? So there we go. Sometimes I even pop in just to get time to knit. So I sit and listen to them and talk to them and I knit. And they talk about their stuff and I get to know them better. So there you go. Okay, unless you have any more questions. Sorry, I just read Gwen's comment. Sorry, Gwen, not sorry. I only have one complaint in inverted commas. Since joining Anne's World, I no longer enjoy shopping at my local yarn shop like I used to because I only want Norwegian wool. There you go. There you go. So. Yeah, because I do use mainly Norwegian wool. I do use a couple of others, but one of them is British, and I also actually used one yarn, not a lot, but I've used one yarn, a variegated yarn from Montana, which is really cool, hand dyed. But I use Norwegian wool only. Okay, with that, I'm gonna call this a day, and there's an email coming your way with some links and. Sign up for that one-to-one if you have questions, if you're on the verge of, if you don't know if you want the Fjord, if you don't want, or the Northern Light, or maybe, can you do it later? Sign up, have that conversation with me, and then decide. If you know that you want to join the Fjord, do it. If you you want to join the Northern Light, you have to do that sign-up thing, because if not, you're not going to get in this intake. And I'll see you around. We're going to do the level 1 chat panel tomorrow. And then I'm doing a Fair Isle versus Norwegian knitting little seminar on Tuesday. And I'm also available for some last minute questions after that presentation if anyone has any. And then we're closing at midnight Pacific on Wednesday. And that is actually 9 o'clock Central European time in the morning on Thursday, for those of you who are in Europe. And then we have a welcome call at 8 p.m. For the level 2 in the evening, Central European time on Thursday, and then an hour and a half later for everyone in the Northern Lights / level 3. And then we will go through what you need of yarn and sizes and colors and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a bonus call next Sunday for those who needs more help with colors and sizes, because there's always extra questions after the initial welcome call. So we do that on Sunday. Okay, until then, what do we say in the podcast? Knit some beautiful stitches, right? And I'll see you.
And this time I'm going to ask you to stay.